Hello everyone, I've got another video about a well-known cryptid to share with you today. The Snallygaster is a staple in Maryland folklore that has been around for a few centuries, and its story is still discussed and passed down to this day. With that being said, let's get right into it. In American folklore, the Snallygaster is a bird-reptile chimera originating in the superstitions of early German immigrants, later combined with sensationalistic newspaper reports of the monster. Early sightings associate the Snallygaster with Frederick County, Maryland, especially the areas of South Mountain, Braddock Heights, and the Middletown Valley. Later reports would expand on sightings encompassing an area to include Central Maryland, Berkeley County, West Virginia, and the Washington, D.C. metro area. The said area of Frederick County, Maryland, was settled by German immigrants beginning in the 1730s. Early accounts describe the community being terrorized by a monster called a Snallygaster, meaning quick ghost in German. The earliest incarnations of the creature mixed the half-bird features of a siren with the nightmarish features of demons and ghouls. The Snallygaster was described as half reptile, half bird, having a metallic beak lined with razor-sharp teeth, occasionally alongside octopus-like tentacles. The Snallygaster was rumored to swoop silently from the sky to pick up and carry off its victims. The earliest stories claim that this monster sucked the blood of its victims. Seven-pointed stars, which reputedly kept the Snallygaster at bay, can still be seen painted on local barns. It has been suggested that the legend was resurrected in the 19th century to frighten freed slaves. Newspaper accounts throughout February and March 1909 describe encounters between residents and a beast with enormous wings, a long pointed bill, claws like steel hooks, and an eye in the center of its forehead. It was described as making screeches like a locomotive whistle. A great deal of publicity surrounded this string of appearances, with the Smithsonian Institution offering a reward for the hide. U.S. President Theodore Roosevelt reportedly considered postponing an African safari so he could personally hunt the beast. It was later revealed that these reports were part of a hoax perpetrated by Middletown Valley Register editor George C. Roderick and reporter Ralph S. Wolfe in an attempt to increase readership. The descriptions they invented borrowed themes from existing German folklore, including dragon-like creatures who snatched children and livestock, and appeared to invoke descriptions of the Jersey Devil, which had been spotted mere weeks earlier. On June 22, 1953, Whitaker Chambers, whose home lies in Carroll County, Maryland, used the Snallygaster to examine U.S. Senator Joseph McCarthy in his essay titled, "Is Academic Freedom in Danger?" That part of the essay read, "It was a trick of fate in a low comedy mood that Senator McCarthy should first have bounded into public view, dragging the unlikely and protesting person of Mr. Lattimore to share with him a historic spotlight so grateful to the one and so acutely unwanted by the other. It was a trick of fate that in each case has led to some serious confusion, for it led to the translation of Senator McCarthy into the symbol of a national Snallygaster instead of one of the two things that he obviously is. An instinctive politician of a kind fairly common in our history, in which case the uproar he inspires is a phenomenon much more arresting than the senator, or a politician of a kind wholly new in our history, in which case he merits the most cautious and cold-blooded appraisal. Some modern analyses highlight how the legend was used in the early 1900s to intimidate black residents, with the real monster being racism itself.
Yeah, we're jamming out to this music.
You've been dancing to the banner theme. It is 9:33. Time to see what's coming out for our media partner, the Baltimore Banner.
Have you heard the legend of Western Maryland's mythical monster, Snallygaster? Well, reporter Julie Sharper is here with us this morning to explain more about it and its origins. Good morning to you, my friend. What is the legend of the Snallygaster?
Good morning. So the Snallygaster is this mythical beast that is supposed to lurk in the mountains of Western Maryland. It has these long talons.
Oh, no.
You're scaring me.
It's scary.
And how far west are we going? How is it, like Hagerstown west or
Middletown area?
Frederick's too close.
Yeah. So, and then what I found out as I did some research and talked to some historians that it has like a very disturbing history behind it.
Oh, wow.
And so to back up, I should say that there's been sort of this like resurgence of interest in the Snallygaster. This past weekend there was a Snallygaster Beer Fest in DC.
Okay.
Wow.
There's an ice cream flavor, there's a band, there's a restaurant, there's lots of things honoring the Snallygaster. I talked to a historian who dug back and looked in the original newspaper accounts, and the origins are racist and terrible. And it was basically designed to intimidate black people in
Really?
Western Maryland in the early 1900s.
Okay.
That is fascinating.
And so, yeah, so the sort of the takeaway of it all is that the real monster is racism. at the
Oh,
end of the
isn't that
day.
incredible?
And all this cute stuff that you're hearing about the Snallygaster
Right.
and this and that.
Yeah.
People should really be thinking before celebrating.
So what you're saying is don't go to the beer fest for Snallygaster because of what it stands on. I think is what we're getting at.
I think people need to know.
Yeah,
the
at
truth
least have an
about it,
idea.
And
Yeah.
I think people need to be making decisions of, ooh,
Yeah.
do we really want to
Celebrate
naming
this.
cute things
Right.
after it and celebrating it, or should we be looking at its true origins?
Snallygaster. And the word itself, Snallygaster, is there a real origin for that?
So the traditional story is that it comes from a German expression which is Schnellergeist. So Geist means ghost, like poltergeist.
Okay.
And it's like a shadowy kind of monster.
Yeah.
But this historian also found that the term Snallygaster was being used in the late 1800s, early 1900s as a political term.
Yeah.
Almost like filibuster, kind of like one of those silly,
Yeah.
weird
A Snallygaster,
political words.
right.
Exactly. So she's not sure if this Schnellergeist story is actually true, or
Yeah.
if these newspaper editors who started sharing the word
Yeah.
might have just been using it from the political context.
Gotcha. All right, well, Julie, thank you so much for this educational
Yeah.
lesson. I thought it was going to be a nice little storyline, but the
I know.
more you know.
The story behind the story.
That's what I thought when I started reporting it,
Yeah.
and then I thought it's really important to tell people the truth behind this.
That's
Absolutely.
great to know.
Yeah,
Thank
great
you.
work.
Thank you.
However, today, the Snallygaster is a well-known cryptid and a symbol of local folklore and history. It also serves as a mascot for a large annual fundraiser in Washington, D.C.
Welcome back to Great Day Washington. DC's biggest beer festival is happening this weekend, and it's called Snallygaster.
So we invited in the beer expert here in the nation's capital, Greg Engert. He's the partner and beverage director of Neighborhood Restaurant Group. Welcome.
Thanks, guys.
Welcome.
All right, we want to know. Snallygaster.
Snallygaster.
Right, the name. So the name, we crafted this 12 years ago because we were trying to create the biggest beer festival on the East Coast, which we've succeeded in doing. And we were looking for like a kind of like a monster name. And it turns out that Snallygaster is this like mythical beast that apparently used to terrorize the denizens of like Northern Virginia back in the late 19th century. It's like a winged like dragon like bird thing. So yeah, so it was a great name. It stuck. It's pretty memorable, but it does require some explanation.
It does, but
Yes.
it is memorable for sure.
Yeah.
Now, this isn't scary for people who show up, though, to the festival, right? You're
No,
not terrorizing.
no,
Okay,
it's
fine.
great. It can be intimidating. I mean, we have 450 different beers from about 200 different brewers from all over the world. Wow. So local stuff, domestic stuff. We have brewers coming from Brazil, Estonia,
Oh my gosh.
Belgium, Germany, England. Really, really amazing stuff. Plus great cocktails and wines and non-alcoholic drinks.
That's the thing. It's not just beer. You said non-alcoholic cocktails, wine, a little bit of
everything,
something
yeah.
for everybody. Looks like a big old fun party that they're having out there. That's for sure.
Yeah, so and it's the most amazing backdrop, and the weather is going to be incredible this weekend. So Saturday, 2 p.m., Pennsylvania Avenue with the Capitol building as the backdrop. It's on 7th and
yeah.
Pennsylvania, like 4 city blocks.
That's
It is incredible. We have 2 stages of live music, 25 food vendors, great like shopping with makers and a vinyl pop-up shop. It's more of like just like a big fall festival than
Yeah.
just about the beer.
Right.
Can we try some of the beer, though?
Of course, yeah.
We can't have you on.
We're going to start off with something kind of classic from Notch Brewing Company out of Salem, Massachusetts. This is their Czech-style Pilsner. It's just a great, refreshing, crisp, full-flavored lager, nice and
I
balanced.
already smell it. Just pouring it. Cheers. Cheers.
Cheers.
Isn't it bad luck to...
Yeah, you want some cheers beer? I don't know. Well, it's good. It's light.
great. Yeah,
Like
very
it's not.
light, refreshing for people who want stuff that is kind of,
Yes.
quaffable. It's great.
Good.
Really, really cool. And then the fun thing about Snallygaster now is we have classic styles like this Pilsner, Belgian style Saisons, we have British style beers, things that you kind of see around, but then we have some innovative beers, creative beers, beers that almost don't even taste like beer anymore. So the next one I'm going to pour you does just that. This is called Pink Guava Colada. It's from Prairie Brewing Company, just south of Oklahoma City. in Oklahoma. And this is a mildly tart wheat ale that is finished with pink guava, pineapple, and coconut.
I wish I was at the beach enjoying this one. This
Exactly.
even
It smells like it.
You know,
That's different.
it's different. It's not as much as I thought it was
Yeah.
going to be. Like,
Wait,
I
I
was
don't even know
expecting
what I'm
that sweetness, that
Yeah.
really like.
It
collapsed.
smells sweet,
Yeah, it
starts
does.
sweet, and then it finishes tart and dry.
Yeah, you get a little bit of that sour. If you like a sour, it's probably
Exactly.
you would
This
really
is a
enjoy
great
this.
sour for that kind of thing. Yeah.
Like, I want to say it's different. I can't describe it any
Yeah,
other
yeah, yeah.
than
It's
it's
good.
good.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
good, but it's different.
It's
Yeah.
good. It's totally cool. And then we
That's
kept
fun, I like that.
we kind of keep going up the levels with that. So Crooked Crab is a fantastic local brewery. They're from Odenton, Maryland. They make these beers that are called Toasties. So this is S'mores Toasty Stout. So it's a stout, so it's dark, it's rich, 7% alcohol, but it also has some interesting ingredients. So this one's finished with marshmallows,
chocolate.
graham crackers, Ecuadorian cocoa nibs, and Ugandan vanilla.
Good. Different. Again, I'm so
Again.
confused that these are beers.
Yeah, I know, exactly.
And
That's
you get a little tasting glass. So
Exactly.
you don't taste it.
And I'm
you
glad
don't have to commit. Right?
Exactly.
Okay.
And so that's the fun of
that's
this,
what
right?
this
So
would
there's hundreds of beers. Obviously, you're not going to get to all of them, but they're unlimited taste for 4 hours. So from 2
Yeah,
to 6 p.m.,
that's good.
you can taste your way through
Yeah.
all the
I really
beers.
like
Because
this
that's
one.
like all I would want.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Taste
exactly.
and,
Yeah, you
enjoy.
can kind of move on.
Thank you
Yeah.
so much.
Of course.
Snallygaster. Now we know. It takes place this Saturday from 12 to 6 p.m. in downtown D.C. For tickets, you can go to snallygasterdc.com.
I've known about the Snallygaster for a very long time, but was always unaware of its origins until now. Even if you were also already aware of the Snallygaster, hopefully you still found this video informational and entertaining at the very least. Thank you all for watching, and as usual, if you're a fan of urban legends, folklore, unsolved mysteries, cold cases, and all things mysterious, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel.